Hello, my name is Jason, and today I'm going to be talking about The Man with the Golden Torc by Simon R. Green. I haven't been going immediately back to authors that I've done before. I have done a few. I did the first 3 videos I reviewed a book series by Sandy Mitchell, and I have done 2 books by Douglas Adams, but I really enjoyed the books of Simon R. Green for the most part. I've read a couple that I was like, not as good as others. Anyway, The Man with the Golden Torc fits in with the world that Simon R. Green has built. Basically, all of his books are interwoven in some way. So, The Man with the Golden Torc, for instance, happens in the same universe as the Nightside series. But at the same time, his Hawk and Fisher series is also loosely linked with these. And then as well, there's also the Deathstalker series that is also linked with this universe. So they're all interwoven. And then the other books in the Hawk and Fisher, set in the Hawk and Fisher universe, by extension, they're also touching the same circumstances, same world as the Nightside and the Secret Histories. So this one, The Man with the Golden Torc, is the first book in the Secret Histories series. And for those of you who are James Bond fans out there, you'll notice that the title is a riff on a James Bond title. Now, all of the books in all the books in the Secret Histories series are riffs on James Bond titles. So there's Demons Are Forever, Nightfall, Moonbreaker, Casino Infernale. They're all going back to the James Bond title. The reason being is that the main character, Edwin Drood, goes by Eddie, is a secret agent, but a secret agent of a very different kind. He's a secret agent of the supernatural. His family are the Droods, and if you do get into this series, you'll find that Drood is a modification of the word druid. So Eddie's family is descended from the Druids, and they have taken upon themselves to protect humanity from, as Eddie puts it, things that go bump in the night. They all have a golden torc. Now, a torc is similar to a necklace, if you're unfamiliar with it. It goes around the neck. It usually looks like braided wire, and it has kind of 2 knobs on the end. You can kind of see a picture representation of it here on the cover, but you wouldn't hold it in your hand. It goes around your neck. This torc is made out of metal that's not from our universe, and was gifted to each of the Drood members of the Drood family, and when they activate it, it covers their body with a golden armor that makes them nigh invulnerable, and gives them various superpowers. They can do various acts of superhuman strength. They are impervious to magic. Bullets just bounce off. There's all sorts of stuff that they are able to do because of this armor. So anyway, to move on, Eddie is sent into a situation where a politician was having an affair with something it shouldn't have. With something he shouldn't have. Something, not someone, in this case. And as a result, a demon was growing inside the the politician. And so Eddie's job was to go and take care of the situation. So he broke into the very, very special private hospital that the politician was staying at, and terminated the pregnancy with extreme prejudice. And in the process, he ran into something himself that he shouldn't have. Well, he didn't know it was there, and so when he made his report, somebody back at his family thought that he had gotten information that should have been hidden from him. And as such, he was then sent on another mission, and while he was on that mission, he was ambushed by elves. Not the Tolkien elves that are kind of benevolent, but the King Oberon, Queen Titania elves that are definitely inimical to mankind. They have a grudge against mankind for taking the earth from them, and as such, they don't like the Druids a lot, because the Druids were part of the group that kicked them out. So Eddie is then, from that, he determines that he's been declared rogue by his family. And he can't figure out why. He's not entirely sure why he has been declared rogue, and because of that, he is in danger of losing his life to his family, and to any of the number of various enemies that his family has made over their long career of protecting mankind. And so Eddie, instead of just dropping things and running for cover, he decides to figure out what on earth has made his family declare him rogue and fix the situation. I mean, why wouldn't you? So I should say that it wasn't just elves. It was a bunch of different enemies of his families that went after him. And by process of elimination, it was one of those things where it's like, well, how could somebody have known I was on this mission? It's a secret mission. No one could have known unless someone from my family told. And then when he went back to when he made contact with his family, he was basically told that he was rogue and that he would be eliminated on sight, kind of thing. In so doing, he decides to figure out who had set him up and figure out why he was being declared rogue. In the process, he decides to make allies with people who have traditionally been enemies of his families, because they know how to deal with Druids, and they might have sources of information that he could exploit. And one of the people that he befriends at this point in time is Molly Metcalf, the Witch of the Wild Woods. Molly is a supernatural terrorist and has a reputation as being such. And together they go in to try to find out what's going on, what the actual situation is. Because, as I said, Eddie is confused. Eddie has no idea why his family has decided that he needs to be eliminated. He has been a faithful agent of the family for years and has never done anything to warrant this kind of response. So, in going forward, I really did enjoy The Man with the Golden Torc. I think Simon R. Green is a good author, and I have enjoyed most of his books. I can't say that that I've enjoyed every single book that he's written, but I mean, sometimes you just like a book better than other times. That being said, Eddie is not very dissimilar to John Taylor from the Night Side. He's very much in the kind of shoot first, ask questions later kind of thing, and he has a tendency to justify his actions based on I'm doing this for the good of mankind, which, Eddie is kind of the same way. I'm doing this because it's necessary and it needs to be done, rather than I'm doing this because it's a good thing to do. It's an expediency thing. It has to be done, and the consequences be damned, kind of thing. Molly Metcalf is entertaining. I do enjoy the dynamic between her and Eddie, and the bond that eventually develops between the two of them over the course of the book. She's not a typical protagonist, but she's still an enjoyable character. But again, Simon R. Green kind of falls in this series, as with the Nightside series. He, in my opinion, it's kind of fallen into a trap. With the Nightside series, John relies very much on his gift, and it's like anytime he's written himself into a corner, he brings up the same words almost verbatim in every book, multiple times, to describe John's gift and his ability. The same is kind of true with the Man with the Golden Torc in the armor. The armor is kind of a deus ex machina, if you will. Anytime Eddie gets into a situation that's difficult, he calls up his armor and punches his way out of it. There does end up being a little bit more finesse in later books with the way the armor works and things. It showcases more abilities and whatnot. But with the Man with the Golden Torc, it's an introduction to the series, and as such, the armor is fairly one-dimensional and kind of makes it so that there's not much going on with it. It's like I said, it's very one-dimensional, but it's almost a character in and of itself. That being said, like I said before, it's a good read, and I enjoyed most of the series. I won't spoil it for you by telling you which bits and pieces I didn't enjoy. That's up to you. If you're interested, it's a good series, and it ties in with the Nightside eventually. So there is that. And so, as always, the sign off. Like and subscribe. Leave notifications down below. Turn on the bell to get notifications when the next video comes out. And as always, like what you're reading.